Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Chris202 here, back with another video, and if you guys cannot see me right now, we are in the dark right now. Yeah, let's get on with this video and get it over with.
Chuck E. Cheese's, known as a place where a kid can be a kid, isn't as innocent as people make it out to be. Sure, it seems like just another arcade place for kids, with a creepy robotic mascot band on the stage.
I've never liked those
I got
mascots.
to experience
They are
it.
creepy as
I got
heck.
to experience the truth, the horrible truth, behind Chuck E. Cheese. During the summer of 2006, I was about to be a senior in high school,
mascots in my room
and I needed some extra cash
because
to buy a
freaking
car,
FNAF, which
so I decided to look
makes
for a
it
job.
worse.
I searched the
Dude,
newspapers
what's with his
daily for any
eyes?
job openings anywhere, but I found more news stories about missing teenagers than I did job listings.
Ooh.
It was a strange time. My parents didn't want me going out anywhere, and most parents kept their children indoors at all times. It was
Good.
the sixth missing teenager that month. It was in the paper, on the news, it was everywhere. They all seemed to be either 16 or 17 years old.
Jeez.
I came from a small town in Pennsylvania, but these disappearances brought a lot of attention to our town. However, these reports didn't stop me from going out to look for a job.
Oh,
I lived
cool.
about
That looks
10
like
minutes
Mad.
away walking distance from a big strip mall that had a Chuck E. Cheese in it.
Ooh, Family
and when I was
Guy.
applying
Yeah,
to some stores
cool.
in that strip mall,
This will help a
I
lot
noticed
because
that
this
the Chuck
show
E.
is
Cheese had
funny.
a help wanted sign on the door. So
Makes it way
I went
less
in to
scary.
apply. I asked the employee standing by the entrance for a job application, and without responding, he called for a manager. A man, probably in his late 40s, walked to me and greeted me, immediately asking when I could start.
Okay.
He didn't even interview or talk with me, he just basically offered me the job right away.
Okay, I
This
would not
shocked
take
me
it. That is
because
not a good
I had
idea.
never heard of a job that didn't require some kind of interview.
Yeah, every
I told him I
job
could start work
requires an
immediately.
interview, like seriously.
The man told
Any
me to
job
come
that
back
does
the next
not,
day to be trained and
that's
to receive the
pretty
employee
freaking
uniform.
not trustworthy.
I left the place so excited I didn't even think about how weird it was.
Yeah, it is
I had
weird.
just gotten a job. Now I could save up for a car before school starts. It wasn't until I got back home that I started to realize
just
how strange
driving
it
your
was that I was
mom's car?
spontaneously offered a job with no interviewing.
Like, bruh, it's not.
They
It's
basically
not
just hired
going
a
to Chuck E.
complete
Cheese
stranger.
and watching the
How did they
freaking
know if I was
mascots is not
qualified or able
that
to do
good
the
for a
job?
freaking car.
I imagine that they were just really
Oh, dude, that freaking ad.
I imagine that they were just really short-staffed and decided to just be happy I got the job. That night, I did some research on what I would most likely be doing as my job. I found out that most new employees would either be cleaning up or dressing as the Chuck E. Cheese mascot.
That doesn't seem
great,
half bad.
I thought. I really didn't want to have to walk around in that thing. I went back the next day around 4 o'clock.
Cleaning up isn't really that
The
bad.
manager greeted me and gave
I'm
me a red
OCD,
shirt
so I
with a
mean,
Chuck E.
it's
Cheese
what
logo.
I do.
He then
It's
proceeded
my
to show me what
talent.
it was I would be doing.
Other than my
which was
bed,
cleaning
that's the only thing I
tables,
don't
sweeping
keep clean
floors,
24/7
and
if you
cleaning
guys
and
have looked in
maintaining
the
the robotic
background every
mascots.
once in a while.
I was relieved that he didn't mention dressing in the Chucky costume, but I didn't understand what he meant by maintaining the robotic mascots. I asked him what he meant by that, and he explained that sometimes the animatronics get quirky, particularly Chucky. He explained that sometimes, even in their idle states, the animatronics get overheated and need to be cooled down, or they might break or glitch.
Oh.
So my job was to prevent that.
Well, I
by
mean, they
spraying the
are
fur of the
old. You
robots
can't
with
really
a bottle
blame it.
containing some kind of liquid, probably water. Somehow that would cool down the animatronics or something. I didn't see how that made sense, but I didn't question it. It
Yeah,
seemed
just
easy
don't.
enough. After showing me all of this, the manager asked me if I was ready to start working today. I was shocked, but I was anxious to make money, so I told
Well, I
him
would be
yes.
too to get that
It was only
freaking
then that he
camera
finally
money.
introduced himself as John and asked me for my name. After I introduced myself, he seemed in a hurry to leave. Before I stopped him and asked him if he needed my personal information and worker's card since I was only 17. He chuckled and responded, "Don't worry about that, bud. This job is off the books." I asked him what I should start doing and when my shift ended. He told me to clean tables for
Are you
now,
kidding me?
and to leave when instructed. After this,
That was
he
not
stormed out of
fake.
the
I
building
literally
without
got
even saying
jump scared by my
goodbye or
phone.
Good luck. I stood there, feeling
This was a bad
awkward and
idea.
extremely confused. What kind of job was this? Leave
I'm
when
muting my phone,
instructed?
bruh.
How long were they gonna keep me in here? And
Yeah, I'm
they didn't
putting it
need any
freaking
of
on
my
silent.
information?
Yeah,
I got
silent.
started
There we
cleaning
go.
tables and continued to do so for a while.
What is with the
wasn't
animatronics
so bad so
eyes? Like,
far.
for real, they're just so derpy.
About an hour into my shift, an employee told me to go backstage and clean up the robots before their show.
Alright.
John, the manager, had showed me the stage earlier, and cleaning these furry robots seemed easy. I filled
Okay,
a bucket
well.
with soapy water and brought some paper towels over to the robots.
Oh yeah, the paper
They all
towels are to
seemed
dry them
perfectly
off.
clean, just like I expected. Why would they get dirty in the first place?
Well,
but
I mean,
I
they
figured
are
I should just
old.
do it
They
anyway.
do need tinkering.
I started with the
I think those have been there for like years.
character all the way on the right, the human one dressed like a chef.
Oh yeah, I
Rubbed a
remember that
damp
guy.
paper towel
He doesn't
around
have
his face.
as creepy
Not
as
that it
Chucky
changed
is, like,
much.
for real.
It looked just as clean afterwards. I repeated this process until I reached the Chucky robot, which was all the way on the left side. This one definitely seemed
You
the most
guys should have
realistic.
got better footage
Even
of
to the point
Chucky
where it
instead of the
was really
same
creepy.
thing over and over again.
How could little kids find this shit entertaining?
Yeah,
I
I
couldn't
swear, I
understand
have
it.
no idea how they find it
Apart from all
entertaining.
the other robots, the Chucky one actually seems pretty dirty, particularly around the mouth. So I scrubbed around the robot's mouth with a damp paper towel.
Don't.
It was
Do
weird,
not
though.
do
This
that.
robot was softer than the others. Just as I finished, the robot turned its head to me and opened its mouth.
Nope.
I jumped
Run.
back and almost screamed out loud. I walked around to the other side of the robot to see if its head would follow me. It didn't. It seemed obvious to me right away that the Chucky robot was left on for some reason. I didn't really think much of it after that.
Dude, think a lot.
After another hour of sitting in that
Leave.
room, I had
Don't
to resume
freaking
cleaning
trust
up
it.
tables and floors while the robots did their show.
The light
Besides
of my
that,
mouse
it
is
was
like
a pretty
glistening
easy
in
and
like the
boring
side
night.
of my freaking glasses.
Eventually, an
Where like
employee
if
came and
they're
told me to go
fuzzy
home.
or whatever or dirty,
I think it was
the
almost
light
9
like
o'clock when I left.
glistens or
On
is
my
like
way home,
little
I felt
light
kind of
lines.
happy. I had found such an easy job so quickly. I didn't mind it at all.
Literally
Most of
get
the
the
shift
hardest
I
job
spent in that
ever
room, watching those
and
idle
trust it.
robots.
Instead of getting the easiest
At the
job
end of
and
the
almost
night, I
dying
fell
by a
asleep pretty
robot.
quickly. But around 3 in the morning, I woke up to the sound of something coming from outside. It was
Dude,
incomprehensible at first.
Get a
but pretty soon I
gun.
could make it out to be a very high-pitched, creepy laughter.
Nope. Oh. No.
We lived on a really quiet road, and hardly ever was there
Oh
somebody
my
walking
God.
past our house. I felt a bit unnerved, but I got up to look out my window. I
The
lifted the
posters
blinds
are
up and peeked out
freaking
the
me
window.
out right now.
The streetlight outside provided enough light to see the side of my
Dude,
property,
the lighting
along
right
with the
now
street
is
and the woods
really
across the street.
terrible.
I scanned the street looking to find anybody out there.
Oh, almost got a heart
Nobody.
attack.
Just as I was about to get back in my bed, I noticed something across the street, by the edge of the woods. It
Oh,
was the
heck
silhouette
no.
of what seemed to be a big man. From where he was standing, the light
Dude,
didn't reveal
get
any
your
of his
freaking
features.
Fortnite
All I
sniper
could see was
rifle
the black figure
and
facing my window.
snipe it in the
I pulled
face.
down the blind and jumped back into my bed. I almost wanted to tell my dad about it, but I didn't want to seem like a baby. What kind
Bruh,
of fucking
tell the
freak would
heck
stand
out of
out
him.
Like that? Whatever.
Come on,
They're
dude,
out
that's
there and I'm in
freaking
here, I
creepy.
thought.
That's unusual.
I tried to fall asleep.
These freaking ads, though. That is
What a
creepy.
relief. I pulled the blinds back down, and after that, I fell asleep relatively quickly. The next day, I went back to work at around 4. It was weird. That day, when I got there, I noticed that a lot of the other employees were giving me odd stares, like
Really?
I didn't belong or something.
Maybe they
One
heard
employee
about the
came up to me and
incident.
told me that I would be watching the animatronics all day.
That's
I didn't
why.
really have a problem with that. I just wondered why they
They're
would need someone to
warning
sit
you.
there for hours. All
Either that or
were
they
were
just do not
robots.
like you whatsoever.
The first 2 hours of my shift went slow. None of the robots moved or overheated. I had already finished quote-unquote cleaning them, if I should even call it that, so I didn't have anything to do. I made a note to myself to bring some magazines or something to keep myself entertained the next day. There was no animatronic show that night. I guess they mainly did those for kids' birthday parties. I guess that's why they were all
I
motionless
think that's
that
what they
night.
only use those
Anyway,
for.
sitting around these robots for hours with nothing to do, it gave me time to observe some things, like how the curtains were covered by some kind of electronically moving wall, and how two of the robots that were sitting down still managed to be the same height as the other robots that were standing up.
Yeah,
I
that
found
is
them all
pretty
to be
weird.
creepy, but I found the Chucky robot to be the creepiest. I've never seen an animatronic that looked so real. It genuinely looked like some kind of giant mouse or rat, as stupid as that sounds. The way it was just facing the curtains with the creepy smile on its face. It made me
it is a
bit
freaking
uneasy.
creepy smile.
Before I can examine it anymore, one of my superiors came behind the stage and told me to take my lunch break. I
Alright.
asked her what the point of my job was.
Use that lunch break
Pointed out
to
that I
sneak
hadn't
out.
done anything. Her
Oh,
response
dude, really?
was, "Your
Freaking
job
getting
is
closer
more
into
than
the
meets
mic
the
now.
eye." What?
Not
you-
cool.
Before I could finish my sentence, she walked away. This beyond confused me, and I just thought the girl was a straight-up weirdo. Why would I have reason to think otherwise? During my half-hour lunch, I got a 50% discount on all food from the place.
That's
Which was
cool.
nice.
I guess that's an
While
upside.
I was eating, another employee,
Next to death.
probably in his early 20s, walked up to
Freaking
me
50%
and
off a
looking very
pizza.
spooked, said, "Get out of here, while you still can." Before
Yeah,
I
that's
could
a warning
respond,
to
he walked-
leave.
There sure are a lot of creeps working here, I thought to myself.
Dude,
But what can you
take their
expect, though,
advice and
when they
leave.
hire anybody that walks
Go
through
to
their doors?
McDonald's. Go to freaking Burger King. Go to
When my
Dairy
break was
Queen.
over,
Literally
well,
getting
technically
50%
my whole
off,
job was
or
a break.
20, even
I never did
10%
anything.
off a freaking ice
But when
cream
my lunch
would
break
be
was over,
awesome.
I walked back to the
Their
backstage.
ice creams are
But
amazing.
when I opened the door to enter, the Chucky robot was facing the door with a big smile on its face. I almost fell back from fear and shock, but curiosity made me instantly walk up to the robot and examine it. I thought it was turned
leave.
off. I gave the robot a few knocks on the arms to see if it would react. The arms didn't even feel like they were made of plastic under the fur. It felt like I was knocking on an actual arm. The robot
Dude,
then
maybe
turned
there's
to
a
face
person
me
in
again.
it.
What the hell was up with this shit? This thing was so realistic, I didn't even want to be in that room anymore, let alone for 3 more hours. I thought for a second that maybe it was overheating and spazzing out, so I sprayed it with the bottle. This only made it more glitchy. Its mouth started to jerk up and down, and its eyes closed. A sickening, squeaking sound erupted from the robot. Fuck, don't tell me I broke it, I thought. The motion stopped, and it opened its eyes again. I wasn't gonna try that again. I went to go sit back down and
Dude,
just
spray
try
it
to
with
ignore
rat
it.
killer.
I wanted to get through the shift quickly without scaring myself too much.
You're scaring
I
me!
sat down in the chair and looked up.
And I'm not
The Chucky
even there.
robot had yet again turned to face me. I didn't like this. They made this thing too realistic. I spent the next few hours sitting there uncomfortably,
Dude,
with the robot's eyes watching me.
as I've said over
I was
and
thinking
over
about
again,
what the
just
girl had
leave.
Your job is more than meets the eye? And that weird guy? Get out of here while you still can? What the fuck does that mean? Are they planning on killing me or something?
No, the robots
Stupid
are.
nerd. He's probably just trying to be an asshole. I checked
Dude,
my
I'm
watch
being
repeatedly,
for real right now.
anxious
Just
to get out
leave.
of there.
See,
I
look
was
at how
waiting for
that
somebody to
freaking
come in and tell me that I
big
could leave, like the
freaking
previous night.
pizzeria,
but
big
nobody came
mustache
in.
freaking guys
It
looking
was
at
10
you.
o'clock exactly,
Wants
so
to eat your
I decided to
arm.
just leave. I walked out the back door of the stage and left it
Freaking
open
make it
in
into a
case
pizza.
somebody needed to get in there and turn off the robots. As I walked toward the exit of the building, I realized that there wasn't anyone in sight. Some lights had already been shut. I guess they closed pretty quickly. I was
Okay,
sure
yeah,
there was
that
a
is-
manager somewhere closing up, so I felt it safe to leave.
Yeah,
During my
leave.
walk home, I reflected on the whole situation. How fast I was hired, how weird my job is, all the stares from the other employees, and the strange comments
Okay,
people are making about me.
I'm gonna put a
I
bit
started
of
to
light.
think, if they weren't going to have a show
Just a bit
tonight,
of dim light.
why did they need me to come in? Why not just turn off the robots? Why did they need me to come in and watch them for 6 hours? What the hell was I watching? I really wasn't comfortable with the job anymore, and decided that the next day I would go in and tell John the manager that I'm not interested in staying. That night, while laying in bed, I tried to think about
Oh, whoops. I'm laying my phone against the screen.
other
My screen's a
places that I
touch
could
screen,
work.
so it will do that.
But the thought of the Chucky robot staring at me kept coming up. I don't know why. I mean, it seemed
Bro,
obvious
he
that
wants
the
you to
robots had
stay so he
advanced
can
interactive
freaking turn you
technology.
into pizza
Just-
and sell
It
you.
was a little too advanced. That was the last thought I could remember before drifting off to sleep. I woke up at around 3 in the morning again, to the same disturbing
Alright,
laughter
here, let me
coming
check
from
the
outside
time.
my window.
Here. Oh my. Oh
This
my
time, it
god.
was closer. A lot closer. My heart started pounding in my chest. The person I saw last night was back. Back again, seemingly to harass me. I had to confront this person, so I got on my feet and put my hand under the blind, gathering the courage to pull it up.
That was
With
not
one
cool,
instant burst
dude.
of courage, I jerked the blind up to reveal it. It was the face of the Chuck E. Cheese mascot, standing right outside my window, looking right at me. The same smile I had seen in the Chuck E. Cheeses. I almost jumped out of my skin in fear. I stumbled backward on something on the floor,
Oh my
causing me to
god.
fall to the ground. I barely managed to get
Dude.
back up on my feet, then realizing
Ugh.
somebody was pulling a prank on me. Those assholes. They followed me home and threw a Chucky costume on just to scare me. I knew they were all assholes. The way they stared at me, whispered as I passed by, and the strange comments. I bet it was all that stupid fucking nerd I saw earlier that day. I'm probably some kind of pawn in one big prank. That's why they hired me so quickly. But why? Why me? What did I do? I decided first thing in the morning I would go back to the place and give John the manager a piece of my mind, and tell him I would sue if they continued to harass me. That night, I had trouble falling asleep after that.
Yeah,
It
I
was
would
probably
too.
hours before I had
I
actually
would
managed to fall
sleep
back asleep,
with my freaking
only
knife.
to wake up early the next morning. I took a quick shower, skipped breakfast, and stormed out the front door, walking back to the Chuck E. Cheese's. When I
You're gonna
arrived
go
there,
back?
there were 3 cop cars parked outside, along with crime scene tape covering the entrance to the place.
Dude.
What the hell is going on here? I thought. I asked a police officer what happened, and he told me that one of the animatronic characters had been stolen from the place the previous night. Who the hell would steal one of these things, and how?
Oh my
I thought to
god.
myself. It sure didn't seem like a crime scene to me, it just seemed flat out ridiculous. This whole
There's
situation,
something
ever since I
darker
started
behind
at this
it.
job, something has been going on. Something's not right with this place. But I did not want to get to the bottom of it. I just wanted to get away from it. I walked back home and looked up this particular Chuck E. Cheese on Google. Conveniently, there was a phone number for the manager, only it didn't say John. It was some man named George Mayhew. I thought that was
George
strange,
Mayhew.
but I
Sounds
called
weird.
the number anyway. Voicemail. I left a message stating what was on my mind and hung up. I hoped that would end that. Then I realized, fuck, I still have to get paid. I put myself in a really
Yeah.
awkward position now, since I still had to go back to collect my payment. Ugh, whatever, I'll do it tomorrow, I told myself. Besides all of that, the rest of the day went slow and normal. It wasn't until night that I found out that my dad was working the night shift. My mom was already staying the night with my grandma, who was feeling ill, which meant I had the house to myself. I could have
Sorry,
had a
I'm
few friends
watching
over and stuff,
TV
but
to take
I
my
wasn't
mind
in any mood for that. I
off
needed
of
time
that
to
thing.
myself to reflect on what was up with that Chuck E. Cheese. Who the hell steals animatronics? I mean, I guess they're worth something, but to go through that effort, why not rob a jewelry store or something? Whatever, not my problem anymore. That night, I was ready to call the police if the pranksters returned. I kept my cell phone on overnight next to my bed.
Get
ready
a
to dial 911.
bodyguard.
I stayed up late watching TV, dreading having to fall asleep. I watched TV until about 2 in the morning, before finally trying to fall asleep. But I couldn't. My mind was racing. I rolled around in my bed for a good hour, not even remotely tired. My brain was waiting for the laughing from outside, or some kind of knock on the window. So much to the point that I started to become paranoid. I started to imagine sounds like some kind of squeaking noise. I started to imagine seeing things. I thought I could see the silhouette of a figure in the opposite corner of my room. I told myself to stop being paranoid and to just go to sleep. Somehow, I did calm myself down a bit, almost enough to finally fall asleep. I was finally relaxed until... What the fuck? Who the hell is calling this late at night?
Oh god, yeah.
I checked the call ID. It said unknown number.
Doing it so fast like that makes it way more
creepy. I put my cell phone back on my desk and rolled back onto my side. I was so close to falling asleep, and now I was wide awake again. I knew I didn't answer the phone because I was partially afraid to. It was probably about a minute or two later when I heard the voicemail tone go off on my phone. The caller had left a message. I truthfully did not want to listen to it. I told myself to listen to it first thing in the morning, but then a sickening thought came up that the call was to inform of bad news of my ill grandmother. I snatched the phone, flipped it open, and pressed the button to listen to the voicemail.
Hope your grandma's not ill
I heard an
oh-so-familiar
voice. It was John, the manager from Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Truly, this is nothing personal. You have to understand. We needed you. We needed someone. He's getting hungry. He needs to eat, or else... Listen to me. Listen to me when I tell you your sacrifice will not be forgotten. Understand that we only do this to save humanity. We can't kill it. Our attempts only anger it. If we don't feed it... Oh God. We never planned on it escaping. We needed it to consume only in the room backstage. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
What the fuck was that? What?
Run!
This joke has gone far enough. This is completely fucking insane. I have to call the police.
Bro, it's not joking.
I jumped out of my bed and turned on my lamp, anxious to call the police. I dial 911 and raise the phone to my ear. It's only then that I see it. It was the creature. The rat. It was Chucky, standing in the corner of my room,
knife from
smiling
the kitchen.
at me. I hear the 911 operator on the other end, but the phone was already on the ground by that time. I felt my stomach churning inside, my hand still to my ear as if I were still holding my phone. I couldn't move. The creature opened its mouth, wider than any creature could, and started to slowly move toward me. I was trapped. The only way out was through the window. I pulled up the blind, and then pulled up my window. I looked behind me. The creature was just a few feet away from me at that point. I jumped out of my window and ran as far away as possible. A few hours later, I walked back to my house, remembering I had dialed 911, so I expected some cops to be there. I was right. My dad's car was in the driveway, too. I explained to them that a man wearing a Chuck E. Cheese costume with a knife broke into the house, and he trapped me in my room, so I had to jump out of my window. I explained to them that I had just started working at the Chuck E. Cheese nearby, and that everything was weird from the start there. They assured me that the place would be investigated, and after a few questions, they were on their way. They did send
Pull the
another
gun.
patrol car to watch the house for the night.
Slowly grab the gun.
The next
from the
day,
cop's
police were
freaking
investigating
holster
the building and made a gruesome discovery.
and
In the
shoot.
hidden room near the back of the place were the
The
dead
rat.
corpses of 5 teenagers. All
Bruh.
were barely identified as the teenagers reported missing in the news. The place was shut down, but nothing was ever heard from John the manager, or whatever his real name is. After that, the creature never returned to my house. I knew something was off with that place from the start. Of course, I had to improvise a bit
Nope.
with my story. I couldn't tell the police that a giant mouse was trying to eat me.
Nope.
But what kills me the most is knowing that the creature is still out there somewhere. And every so often, I wake up in the night, and just barely, I think I can make out the sound of high-pitched laughter coming from the woods.
Nope. Nope.
Well,
Nope.
I've never told this story to anyone before. Now you know the horrors that go on in Chuck E. Cheese's. And if you're lucky enough to ever find yourself stuck in one in the future, just remember, that animatronic mouse you see on the stage may be more than meets the eye.
That does not make it any better. Alright, well that's it for this video, you guys. Oh, I'm probably not gonna be able to sleep tonight. It's already 9:46. Oh my god. Alright, well, I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed this, because this was freaking torture. I hope you guys are freaking happy. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.